The first trailer for Daredevil Born Again reveals a major character is returning to Marvel, and I'm wondering if this could only be the beginning. Is Spider-Man coming to this show? Welcome back, Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy, and this is all of the Easter eggs, references, and little things you might have missed in the teaser trailer for Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Now, before we dive into the trailer, I want to give you guys a little background on where we left off with this series. Maybe you only saw the show on Netflix, and you're wondering if this show is any different. So, Born Again picks up a little while after the Netflix series. That show ended with Wilson Fisk going to jail, but as we saw in the shows Hawkeye and Echo, he was released at some point. Born Again opens with a massive fight between Daredevil and Bullseye. Now, after Bullseye kills Matt's best friend Foggy, Matt tosses him off a roof, fully intending to kill him. Afterwards, he stops being Daredevil and Karen moves out to LA. But then, Wilson Fisk gets the idea to run for mayor of New York, and he wins. Gradually, Fisk exerts more control over the city while patching up his marriage to Vanessa. See, while Fisk went legit, Vanessa took over his criminal empire, and the two of them clash over how the operation should run now. Matt also starts seeing a psychologist named Heather, who also becomes the target of a new serial killer in town called Muse. Matt suits up again to stop Muse, and Fisk uses the incident to crack down on masked vigilantes. Meanwhile, another vigilante, the White Tiger, aka Hector Ayala, is arrested for murdering a cop. Now, it was an accident, and in court, Matt proves that Hector is innocent, so the police assassinate him soon afterwards. His niece is also in the show, and she becomes White Tiger in the comics, so she might become White Tiger this season. Wilson Fisk then creates an anti-vigilante task force. These are cops that use extreme measures and are fiercely loyal to him. So all of this is driving a rift between Matt and Heather, who, by the way, is also Wilson's marriage counselor. She supports the mayor cracking down on vigilantes, and the two of them break up. Then Wilson kills the police commissioner and cuts power to the city and declares martial law. His vigilante task force rules the streets with an iron hand, and he outlaws all vigilante activity. After trying to kill Matt, he sends the cops to storm his apartment, and Daredevil has to fight off the police with the help of the Punisher, who, by the way, is ultimately captured by the police. Punisher is kept in a secret dungeon where Fisk puts his political enemies, including Jack DeCane, aka the vigilante called the Swordsman, who we met in Hawkeye. Now, the series ends with the Punisher escaping and Matt gathering his allies to take down Fisk. So now let's break down this trailer. We begin with an aspect ratio change of a record player. Now, all through Season 1, they use this to convey Matt's powers, specifically when he's using his senses to focus on one sound or object. Here, it's kind of mimicking eyes opening because this is him listening to music. And then we see Karen and Matt together smiling. Now, they're clearly hiding underground, but they're together again. This contrasts to last season when they were apart, but Matt lived in a high-rise with an expensive view that he couldn't even enjoy. Matt doesn't have anything, but he has Karen, so he's happy. The song playing is Luthonia by Childish Gambino. The song opens with a church organ referencing how Matt Murdock's faith is central to his character. So the song is about Childish Gambino himself, who we could actually swap out for Matt Murdock in this instance. It's about how fame / being known as an entity, being a singer or vigilante, doesn't
bring you anything, and that nobody is going to care about you or what you've done when the world ends. You can work as hard as you want and be known for so many things, but at the end of the day, the world, or the city in Daredevil's case, will leave you behind to fend for yourself. Everything that was once considered important is now worthless in this new world. In Matt's case, that's when the Kingpin takes over. Now guys, if I could just take a second to issue a warning to everybody. Valentine's Day is going to be here really soon, like before you know it.
It is? Oh no!
Yeah, and you don't want to be caught off guard like that guy, skimming the aisles of Dollar Tree looking for plastic roses and a Pepsi gift card. So I want to recommend a gift idea for your special person that feels personal and truly thoughtful, because Valentine's Day gifts shouldn't feel generic. It should be as unique as that special someone is in your life. And that is why I love Holzkern. They're the sponsor of this video. They create beautiful, handcrafted gifts, like this watch I'm wearing. It's called the Celtic Warden, and it's actually made of walnut and silver. Holzkern is a watch and jewelry brand both for men and women. Every piece is made from natural materials like wood, stone, nacre, gemstones, and leaves, so you cannot find their products anywhere else. For instance, look at this Campania ring made from koa and gold. Or maybe you'd like to give them this balance bracelet made from walnut and rose gold, and it's delivered in this one-of-a-kind wooden box. See guys, Holzkern products are made in small batches, especially in their workshop in Vienna. They offer free express worldwide shipping with products arriving in 3 to 5 business days, and they pay the US custom fees. Now this year is Holzkern's 10th anniversary, and it's actually our 3rd year working with them. This is a quality product built to last, and it comes with a 2-year guarantee.
Hey, what about this? Do you think she would like this?
No, dude, buy her something from Holzkern. It'll mean a lot more, trust me. Orders placed by February 14th receive a free red gift sachet for Valentine's Day. Use our code ScreenCrush by clicking the link below or scanning this QR code to get 15% off your order. But act now. Products are made in small batches and they can sell out quickly. Click the link below, you won't regret it. Now back to what I was saying. And then we get a wide shot of New York as Dex, aka Bullseye, enters a diner. So we saw Dex's origin in Daredevil Season 3. He is a mentally unstable FBI agent who's always had the ability to turn anything into a lethal weapon. In Season 3, he gradually fell under the control of Wilson Fisk, even committing murders while posing as Daredevil. Now this was all laying the groundwork for his origin as the supervillain Bullseye, who is Daredevil's most deadly foe. At the start of Season 1, it was a huge thrill when he showed up in this comic-accurate costume. Now the last time we saw him, he had escaped prison and tried to assassinate Wilson Fisk for, ruining his life. Matt then took the bullet, but Bullseye escaped. Now we do see several shots of him in this diner, smiling as he gets served a milkshake. Notice that ominous-looking cherry?
Well, why is that ominous?
Because Bullseye can turn anything into a deadly weapon, including a cherry stem. There have actually been on-set photos showing a diner covered in blood, so maybe he arrives at this diner and starts killing people, all to attract the attention of the anti-vigilante task force, who we'll just call the AVTF from now on, or just the task force. Now we get lots of shots of the task force intercut with ordinary people on the street. I think these are commercials or propaganda that Fisk is putting out. They're contrasting with the BB on the street interviews from last season that showed real New Yorkers and their real opinions. And notice that oh so subtly in the background here we see a poster of Wilson Fisk where he's painted like that Obama Hope poster. This also features a phone number where people can call in tips if they spot vigilante activity. Now this is straight out of the authoritarian playbook. They want the populace to turn on themselves. And I think the use of the art here is also interesting. Last season, Muse covered the city in anti-Fisk graffiti, but now Fisk is trying to control his image and control the narrative. He is plastering his own face on the city with his own message. And yet, we've also seen Season 2 set photos with graffiti that reads Fisk and no more martial law. So the cracks are already starting to show in the Kingpin's empire. And yet, Matt and Karen have found happiness as they dance together. And this is intercut with Wilson and Vanessa toasting with the upper classes in a fancy restaurant. Now it's interesting because last season also directly contrasted Matt and Heather's relationship with Fisk and Vanessa's. As one couple grew apart, the other grew closer together. Last season we also saw a continuing contrast of Fisk being high and Matt being low. And this also continues here. Matt is hiding underground while Wilson is above in a fancy restaurant. But then Matt senses something as the aspect ratio narrows in time for lights or maybe a flashbang to assault his senses. But notice how Karen isn't affected by this. So it makes me think that the task force could be using some kind of sonic cannon against him, almost like a dog whistle that Karen can't hear. Then we see footage of a man in a Fisk character mask with a title that reads Mayor Kingpin. Now this might be an extreme violent vigilante who's trying to discredit Fisk, similar to in Daredevil Season 2 when Punisher represented vigilantes who crossed the line. Although I hope it is Muse, back from the dead, or at least a Muse copycat. Muse is an incredible character in the comics, and I was so disappointed with how he was handled in Season 1. And so this is another example of how Kingpin can try to control the narrative, but there is still going to be artwork to oppose him. He can try to crack down on vigilantes, but he'll end up needing a vigilante to take down Muse, just like in last season. And then we see Matthew Lillard, who's a great actor no matter what Quentin Tarantino says. Now Marvel producer Brad Winderbaum revealed that Lillard's character is named Mr. Charles. He explained that Mr. Charles represents a new antagonistic power that Kingpin is going to butt heads with as he tries to climb the political ladder. Now, in the comics, when Wilson became mayor, he also wanted to eventually take higher office, the governor, the president. So he had to curry favor with a family called the Stormwinds, who would never accept Wilson into polite society. Now, Lillard could be a representative of the Stormwinds or another kind of political kingmaker. But we also see Lillard walking around with the police, making me think that maybe he works for the governor's office, and he's been sent to check on the progress of martial law. And then we get posters saying Matt Murdock is missing. Notice these have not revealed that he is Daredevil, but the task force has probably named him as a person of interest, and that's why they're on the hunt. Remember, the police shot up Matt's apartment last season, so he would be high on their target list. And then we see Matt in a church bathed in red light. Now, last season, we often saw Matt or Daredevil in red light, symbolizing how he was living in a kind of hell, while Wilson lived above in bright white surroundings. And this all sets up the return of Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones, and I am so pumped for this. Jessica Jones was one of the original Netflix Marvel shows, and the only one besides Daredevil to get 3 seasons. Now, I thought season 1 was the best of any of those Netflix series, and David Tennant's Kilgrave is high in the running for best MCU villain. Jessica got her powers when she was a kid, and she is very cynical about the whole superhero life. She opens a detective agency and sort of formed a team with Matt called the Defenders. She's also had a sexual relationship with Mike Coulter's Luke Cage. And they're also married and have a kid in the comics. Now, I 100% think Luke Cage is also going to be in this show. We saw his name in season 1 in an ad for Harlem's Paradise. That's the club he took over at the end of Luke Cage season 2. Now, that season ended on a massive cliffhanger as Luke took control of Harlem's criminal operations. And Coulter has also been cagey about announcing or answering whether or not he's actually in this show. But with Fisk cracking down on people with powers, Luke Cage is going to be a top target, especially if he's running crime in Harlem. Man, I cannot wait for this show. And Jessica Jones also has this dry, sarcastic wit that is going to be a perfect counterbalance to how seriously Matt takes everything.
I hope you can walk because I'm not carrying you.
I am so pumped that she is in this season.
But what about Iron Fist?
Well, moving on, we also see various shots of Matt in Wilson Fisk's dungeon. We also see a wide shot of him walking through the cages later in the trailer, similar to when he walked among the blind people being forced to bag drugs back in season 1 of the original show. But in these shots, the cages are empty, implying that Matt has freed the prisoners. The cops storm in and he whip pans his billy club right into this guy's head. Now, the prisoners being freed is a huge deal. These were people with high-level political connections, and this could be the beginning of how Matt brings Fisk down. Now, this could also be how the swordsman gets freed, and then Tony Dalton can be one more vigilante that Matt can add to his team that fights Fisk. I should also note that, by the way, all of this is from the comics. When Wilson Fisk becomes mayor, he outlaws vigilantes, and Matt has to form an alliance of superheroes to go against him. This includes Luke Cage, Elektra, and Spider-Man, and we'll talk about why we think Spider-Man's going to pop up in this show a little bit later on. But first, I want to remind you guys that we have awesome Daredevil parody merch for sale at our merch store. We have this tribute to the hallway fight, No Fear, and this Fisk Will Fix It shirt and yard sign, Rabbit in a Snowstorm shirt and poster. This is a replica from the Battle of New York newspaper, and our classic Nelson and Murdoch Law and Order logo, and the Scales of Justice logo for Nelson and Murdoch Avocados at Law. Links for these are below. Then we see Dex suited up as Bullseye, smiling and bloody, maybe right after Matt beat the crap out of him, and then agents storming a house, maybe to capture more vigilantes. There's also a possibility that agents are beginning to crack down on mutants, which is definitely going to be a main priority of damage control as we move forward into the mutant saga in Phase 7. And then we see Wilson talking to Daniel Blake. Now, this is his underling from last season.
Mayor Fisk. That's the coolest thing on the planet.
Who is played by Michael Gandolfini, the son of the late great James Gandolfini. Now notice that Fisk is wearing his all-white suit, and this has a lot of symbolism. So this is Kingpin's suit from the comics. Last season, when he became mayor, he started off wearing dark suits, and then gradually gray. And now, he is fully embracing his role as a criminal mastermind who's in the mayor's office. And then we get this awesome shot of Jessica Jones using a door to hit this agent before we settle into Daniel and Buck looking in a trunk. Now, Buck was Vanessa and Kingpin's top aide in the underworld end of their business, and now it looks like he and Daniel are disposing of bodies for the boss. Now, last season, Daniel was close to BB Urich, and now I'm wondering if this season he's going to have an arc where he starts to grow a spine and actually turn against his boss. Then we see a pier blowing up. Now, this could be in Red Hook, where Fisk and Vanessa were buying up properties to develop last season. And then we see these shots of Fisk in a boxing match, and this is probably like a celebrity fundraiser where the mayor fights a professional boxer and then likely kicks the crap out of him. Or worse, the boxer wins and the Kingpin makes him disappear, because as we know, Wilson hates being embarrassed.
You embarrassed me.
Now, Fisk boxing, even for a charity event, could symbolize his role as an underdog this season. He's got his seat of power, but there are limitations to being the mayor. Now, we saw some of these in season 1 when he was forced to wait on approval of his bills. But now, with Mr. Charles also applying pressure to Fisk, he's really going to be tested this season. In universe, Fisk could also be boxing as a way to spite Matt Murdock, who is missing, but he knows he's really still in hiding. This is a way to disrespect Matt's dad, and it harkens back to Fisk representing Matt's conscience in season 3 of the Netflix Netflix show. Vincent D'Onofrio has said on Twitter that season 2 is going to have plenty of gory moments, like his head massage of the police commissioner from last season, so maybe this boxing event is one of those gory moments. Now, when Dex winks in the diner, we think this could be from somebody recognizing him from a wanted poster. Winking is also a way of having only one eye open, like a sniper, a cute nod to Bullseye's abilities, but also the sniper shot from Born Again Season 1. And then we see Heather Glenn, Matt's ex, speaking to someone in a prison interrogation room. Now, Fisk gave her a high position in his government at the end of last season, so I doubt if she's here to see a client. But maybe she's here because she is slowly uncovering Wilson's conspiracy that killed Foggy Nelson. He did this to protect the secret about his Red Hook property. Now, Heather is not a bad person, and I think she will gradually find out what Fisk is up to and then help Matt take him down. And then we see this shot of people protesting the task force in front of steps with candles and flowers. So I think that the task force killed somebody in this spot. Maybe an innocent bystander, not even a protester. But now the protesters have showed up to demand justice. Then we see Matt teaching Karen how to fight, and thank God for this. Karen has always been the brains of the operation, using her investigative skills while Matt used his fists. But if she can fight, that means that Matt doesn't have to worry about protecting her as much. Then again, this could also mean she places herself in a more vulnerable position, and it could lead to Bullseye taking her out like he does in the comics. Although season 3 did already set up like Bullseye murdering Karen, and it was a fake out and the priest died instead, so I doubt if they're going to follow through on that storyline now. And then we see Eldon Hansen returning as Foggy Nelson, talking to somebody in a prison interrogation room. Now, because he has long hair, we think this is a flashback to the Netflix series days. Foggy was assassinated because he was uncovering evidence of Fisk's shady dealings in Red Hook, so this scene could be part of Matt and Karen uncovering the truth. Or, you never know, Foggy could be alive. He had a fake out death in the comics where he entered the witness protection program. Personally, that's what I'm hoping for. I don't want this show to become like Arrow, where they have to kill a supporting cast member every season to constantly raise the stakes. And then we see Daredevil fighting the task force in Josie's bar, which became the headquarters of the Resistance at the end of season 1. I love this move. He throws the grappling hook behind the cops so he can slide around to reach them faster and evade gunfire. Then he uses a gun to blind these other task force members. Now there's a lot of irony here. Daredevil, like Batman, does not use guns and doesn't like them because of how his dad was killed. But he's also blind, so he can use light as a weapon because it doesn't affect him. And then the title card turns from red to black, foreshadowing the arrival of the black Daredevil suit we see in this trailer. Now, he did wear all black in seasons 1 and 3, but that was just his original homemade outfit. He's worn a darker suit several times in the comics. In the Fall from Grace storyline, he wore black and gray armor.
Not a great plan.
But recently, during the Mayor Fisk storyline, Daredevil donned a completely black suit during the Chinatown arc. And I should note that he also wore a black suit when Charlie Cox's Daredevil met Spider-Man on the show Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So, Matt wearing a dark suit in this trailer could symbolize a new, darker era for Daredevil. Now, speaking of Spider-Man, when I first saw this trailer at Comic-Con, Brandon Davis, friend of the channel, asked Charlie Cox what it was like to work with Spider-Man. Now look at his response.
What? You Daredevil and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Oh, that was on your own.
He freezes. And this is because, like, backstage, he did not see the trailer. The first thing he says when he comes out is, "Oh, I didn't get to see the trailer." So I think that he's confused because he thinks the trailer might have revealed that he worked with Spider-Man on something, but he was told, "Hey, don't talk about that. We're not revealing it yet."
Are there a Spider-Man on the show?
Maybe. Here's what we know. Marvel producer Brad Winderbaum confirmed that they are working with the creatives of Spider-Man Brand New Day because the Punisher is appearing in that movie and they want the series and the movie to naturally connect. They don't want to repeat another mistake like WandaVision going into Multiverse of Madness. Now, there's speculation that Brand New Day features a prison break sequence. Now, in the comics, Matt Murdock is eventually outed as Daredevil to the public and then he is arrested and sent to prison. And this could be how Born Again Season 2 ends. He takes down Mayor Fisk but has to sacrifice his life to do so. Pretty fitting in for a Catholic superhero, actually. But then, in Brand New Day, maybe Spider-Man needs Daredevil's help. Like in leaked trailer footage from that movie, we've seen Spider-Man fight ninjas from the Hand, who are rumored to be the villains in Born Again Season 3. So, if Spider-Man fought the Hand, maybe he fought them alongside Daredevil. We could even see part of their team up early in the movie during an opening montage, which would foreshadow breaking Matt out of prison later in the film. Now, in the comics, Daredevil and Spider-Man have been teaming up for years. They know each other's secret identities, and they're good friends. And look, if Mayor Fisk is cracking down on vigilantes in New York City, Spider-Man has to appear in this show. There are complicated legal rights with Sony, but then again, Sony just canceled Olivia Wilde's Spider-Woman film, and Daniel RPK reported that they have told Marvel that they are open to collaborating more with the character. So this could include sharing Spider-Man with the TV shows, even for a hefty fee. Now, this would be huge advertising for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and it would get fans pumped to see these two team up on the big screen. After all, this team up was teased in the last movie.
I'm a really good lawyer.
Just a reminder, guys, check out Holzkern with our link below to get your deals today in time for Valentine's Day. And big shout out to Ethan Inc., who co-wrote this video with me. His links are below. So what did you guys think of the trailer? You can let me know in our free to join Discord server or find me over on Substack. A subscription sure would be great. Thanks for that. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.